Nisambula Vinaka. Thank you for this opportunity to talana with you, to share a story. It is my story, but it is part of our story as people of the Wemoana, my ancestors' name for the ocean we know today as the Pacific. This great ocean, Wemoana, was both a warning and challenge to ancient Fijian sailors and boat builders. For Wemoana means go where the bow of your canoe takes you. On a beautiful moonlit night in our thatched hut known as Nakandawu in Nambuli village, Rewa, I was told the great, sometimes frightening tales of our ancestors. A story which spoke to the essence of my being was that of a double-hulled canoes and ocean voyages. I lay beside my father and listened with wonder as he wove the tales together. My eyes widened with wonder. My young mind recognized the challenge. The stories were difficult to believe, for I had never seen the ocean. I was born, reared and lived among the waterways and swamps of the Rewa Delta. How could I believe these stories? But my curiosity was piqued and I wanted to know the truth. My imagination wandered in sleep. The stories came alive in my dreams. At dawn, I woke with the tales of the previous night fresh in my mind. My parents were up at crack of dawn to fetch breakfast from the food gardens. As we ate, I asked, "Is it true that our ancestors sailed here in huge canoes?" This was answered with a question. If we did not sail here, how have we come to live in Fiji today? And then our knowledge of sailing has disappeared ever so quickly, isn't it? Will we recover that knowledge? Before the Vikings sailed the Atlantic from Norway to settle America, the indigenous Fijians have settled 350 of Fiji's islands, as did many of the Pacific people. In Fiji, search for the land went as far as Onilau, about 3-day sail from Fiji's main islands. This shows that the indigenous Fijians settled the islands before those of Malay origin, ancestors of the Polynesian people. The Tongans are descended from these people. Had they taken a little longer to settle in this area, it's likely the Fijians would have settled many more islands in the region. Fiji has close links with Samoa and Tonga. One of the reasons for the link is the desire in these countries for Fijian canoes. Fiji was well known for building massive canoes. The canoes had amazing speed, huge cargo building capacity, and were strong. Fiji was also known as the learning center for navigation. The interaction with Samoan and Tongan boat builders lifted skills of the Fijians to a new dimension. 3 countries also became involved in the wars of the other. Years of intermarriage and sharing of cultural values and ideas have led to close links between 3 countries to a level not seen among other Pacific nations. The intermarriage among the elite families of Samoa, Tonga and Fiji opened pathways for relationships at all levels of society which exist in families until this day. Despite these facts, many Westerners argued that Pacific Islanders could not, with their limited knowledge, plan, let alone make return voyages between the islands. The proposed theories that claimed Pacific Islanders merely drifted to new places or fled conflicts and war, eventually settling in Oceania. The argument stuck a spear deep in my very soul, and was one of the reasons I took up the challenge to join the Utanielo voyage, to prove them wrong and show that my ancestors were seafarers. Utanielo and its 6 sister canoes had a mission to show the world that we can save the ocean. The oceans are suffering. They are being poisoned by massive pollution. Fish stocks are falling, the whales are deaf, shellfish are being destroyed. Some marine species humans once ate no longer exist. Why? Because nature is not respected. Oil and waste pollution from ships have contributed to the poisoning of the ocean, and the Pacific is no exception. These are small islands. How will they be affected in the future? That's what we must each ask ourselves. When Pacific Islanders ruled the oceans, this problem did not exist. We were experts in conservation and navigation. We did not pollute the ocean. We used it as a gift from God. By saving the canoes, our ancestors sailed and showed the world that this is one way to save nature. In our first voyage in 2010, we sailed 10,000 nautical miles over 3 months. My last voyage on the Utunialo was the Moa voyage. It was the last major international sail in which the canoes of Fiji, Cook Islands, Samoa and Aotearoa sailed to the World Parks Congress in Sydney, Australia. The word Moa was again connected to that ancient description of our ocean home, Vemoana. In this context, the call to the world was to be guided by nature, with Moa meaning to journey or travel in a certain direction, and at the same time referring to the bow of a canoe. The main goal of the 6,000 nautical miles trip was to deliver a special message to the World Parks Congress. Our message to the world then and now is that these and land and continue to find respectful and resourceful ways to sustain the natural places that they directly rely on for their livelihood and future. The rest of the world is also increasingly dependent on natural bounty of the region, and Pacific people want others to understand the importance of treating these natural resources very wisely. In part, the message said, and I quote, "We see the signs of over-exploitation. We no longer see the fish and other marine creatures in the size, diversity or abundance of the past. We witness the change as foreign fishing fleet ply our waters in a race to strip our resources. Our coral reefs, the greatest in the world, and our mangrove and wetlands spawning grounds are disappearing. Our ocean is vast but not limitless. Growing global population and the relentless pursuit of unsustainable development is reducing the ability of our ocean to sustain life," unquote. The Moa voyage was a call to the world to be guided by ancient traditional knowledge that provides the cultural tools to be resilient in the face of the impact of climate change. It is important that the value of the regions, oceans, and the need to protect these large ocean spaces in the context of climate change is recognized. As indigenous Pacific Islanders, we must embrace the legacy left to us by our ancestors. We will peacefully and positively advocate for a healthy ocean and for the livelihoods of the Pacific communities. Vinaka.